Hey guys, A.F.N here. Today I'm going to be showcasing you a Odd Eyes deck profile, and having said that, let's get started. Bear with me guys, this is a very heavy pendulum deck, so I might not be able to explain everything all that clearly, but I'll do my best. So, I play one copy of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. You don't need more than one, it's just the Odd Eyes, it's a level 7. On top of that, it's the main protagonist card that was used by Yuya Sakaki. So, hey, why not? We need it. It's not an Odd Eyes deck without him. 2 copies of Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. He's one of our best scale 8s. You put him in the Pendulum Zone, and whenever you destroy a Odd Eyes monster, you can special summon out a Odd Eyes monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. It's advised that you play it at 3, but I only own 2, and after playtesting it with just 2, it's perfectly fine because we have so many ways to search for this guy. Next up, we play 3 copies of Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon. He is an excellent searcher. By discarding this card and paying 500 life points, you can add 1 level 8 or lower Dragon Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. In addition, it's not once per turn, so if you open multiple of them, you can search multiple times. Next, I play 1 copy of Persona Dragon, Pendulum Dragon, as well as Phantasma Dragon. Persona Dragon is excellent. It's a level 5, so with some of our tuners in our deck, it synchronizes well with some of our Synchro Monsters. It's an Odd Eyes name. It has a scale 1. On top of that, when it's on the field, it serves as an interruption against your opponent, for you can target one of their monsters special summoned from the extra deck and negate its effects until the end of the turn. Pendulum Dragon, it's a level 7 monster. It's a level 7 Pendulum monster, which helps out to fulfill some of our Excs plays. On top of that, it does have a bit of a burn effect for whenever your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, you can inflict 300 damage to them. On top of that, if you have space in your Pendulum Zone and your opponent plays a spell card, you can return this guy to the Pendulum Zone and negate its effect. Phantasma Dragon, he's more of a win more card. You could just do a lot of damage, at most 3000. I like it because it's a unique card. You know, I figured why not? It's got beautiful card art. But if you want to be more optimized, you could take this card out and replace it with your 3rd copy of Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. Next, I played 2 copies of Performapal Skullcrobat Joker, a solid monster for our normal summon. For when it's normal summon, you can search just about anything. You can add a Performapal monster, Magician Pendulum monster, or Odd Eyes monster from your deck. On top of that, it's a scale 8, so it pairs well with setting up your pendulum summoning. I play 1 copy of Performapal Lady Ange and 2 copies of Performapal Gentrude. These 2 pair well with each other, scale 1, scale 8. On top of that, you can discard this card and 1 Performapal monster to draw 2 cards. On top of that, if this card is sent to the graveyard and you control an Odd Eyes card or a Performapal Gentrude, you can place this card in your Pendulum Zone. So there is some pendulum summoning setup as well as some card advantage. Gentrude is great because if he himself is destroyed, you can place 1 Performapal Pendulum monster from your deck into your Pendulum Zone, except for a card that shares the same name as him. In addition, if this card is face up in your extra deck, by discarding 1 Pendulum monster, you can add this card to your hand, then return 1 Performapal or Odd Eyes card from your Pendulum Zone to the hand, meaning you could free up your scales and scale again. Next, we play 2 copies of Performapal Odd Eyes Seer, 1 copy of Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer. Odd Eyes Seer is great. As you can see by the text, there's just a lot of things going on with him, but to simplify it, he's a good card because he has the Performapal name as well as the Odd Eyes name, meaning he can be searched through multiple of avenues. On top of that, he's a scale 1, and if you pair this well with Arc Pendulum Dragon, you can combo off by destroying him, target a Performapal or Odd Eyes in your grave, add that back to your hand, and because this is an Odd Eyes that was destroyed, you can trigger your Arc Pendulum Dragon to special summon another Odd Eyes monster from your hand deck or graveyard. Pendulum Sorcerer, this guy, you primarily run it to Pendulum summon it, and then target 2 cards you control, which are most likely going to be your Pendulum Scales, and destroy them. And then you could put 2 different Performapal monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, which typically you search for cards you would, put into your new Pendulum zones. Next, we play 3 copies of Performapal Odd Eyes Butler and 2 copies of Odd Eyes Valet. So just like Performapal Odd Eyes Seer, these guys also are very much searchable given that they share the Performapal and Odd Eyes archetype names. Butler, you can target this guy is great because you can target a Performapal or Odd Eyes, but primarily you want to target an Odd Eyes monster card you control and destroy it to trigger Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon's effect, and this guy special summons himself. Odd Eyes Valet, scale 8, excellent. You can normal summon it or special it, mill a Performapal or Odd Eyes card, and the level becomes the same as this. That's not really relevant, it just you just use this card to set up your graveyard. Oh my lord, guys. This deck is making me run out of breath. So, Performapal Odd Eyes Disolver, Performapal Monkey Board, and Odd Eyes Synchron. So, Disolver you use whether it be his Pendulum effect or monster effect, you just want to use it to fusion summon. Performapal Monkey Board, you just essentially want to use this as your scale 1. And Synchron, Performapal Odd Eye Synchron, it's a tuner, you use it for your synchro plays. Next up, we got 1 copy of Noble Dragon Magician and 2 copies of Harmonizing Magician. So, Noble Dragon Magician, you can use an Odd Eyes monster and change its level. Target a level 7 or higher Odd Eyes monster you control. Reduce its level by 3 and special summon it. So you could go into your level 7 synchro plays. Harmonizing Magician, if this card is Pendulum summoned, you can special summon 1 Magician Pendulum monster from your deck in defense. And you can use, that sets you up for your level 8 synchro plays. So Purple Poison Magician, we play 1 of because we want this to be in deck, and when we special summon her, or Pendulum summon, my apologies, you summon this guy and then you go into your level 8 synchros. Next up, Performapal Celestial Magician, 2 copies of Supreme King Darkworm, and 1 copy of Supreme King Gate 0. Celestial Magician, honestly, he's more of a, extender, and on top of that, if he isn't going to be used as an extender, you could always use him as a scale 8. On top of that, because he has a Magician in his name, you could special summon it off of the previously mentioned Harmonizing Magician. Supreme King Darkworm, if it's normal or special, you can add Supreme King Gate 0. Gate 0 has a scale 0, so just widens the scale range that you can use to Pendulum summon. For our spells, finally, right? You play 1 copy of Sky Iris, 2 copies of Spiral Flame Strike. Sky Iris, you just honestly just target a card, you could target one other face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, add an Odd Eyes card from your deck to your hand. This pairs well with Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum because by popping a Odd Eyes monster, you get a search from Sky Iris and you get a special summon from Arc Pendulum. Spiral Flame Strike, you just add a level 7 Odd Eyes monster from your deck, so you can add your Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. Continuing on, we got 1 copy of Dualist Alliance. My goodness, let me clean this up a little bit. So 1 copy of Dualist Alliance, 2 Dragon Shrine, and 1 Foolish Burial. So, Dualist Alliance, if there's a card in your Pendulum zone, you can add a Pendulum monster or Pendulum spell trap from your deck. This card, we're just going to use it to add our Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. Dragon Shrine and Foolish Burial. These three are only essentially used to send to grave Supreme King Darkworm, because if he is if he's in the grave, as long as you don't control a monster, you can special summon it without using your normal summon. So yeah guys, that concludes our main deck. Let's finally move on to our extra deck. So I played 2 copies of Beyond the Pendulum and 1 copy of Exceed the Pendulum. Since in the TCG, Electrumite is banned, Beyond the Pendulum serves as a good alternative to, at the cost of 1200 life points, add a Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand, and going for extension. Exceed the Pendulum. There's a neat little combo that I have, but I guess I'll talk about that in a different video. But Exceed the Pendulum is great because it recycles your face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck, because you can add it back to your hand. Then during the main phase, as a quick effect, you can special summon 1 Pendulum monster from your hand or grave in defense position, with the level between the scales of the 2 cards in our Pendulum zones. Next, for our Excs, we play 1 Raider's Knight, Arc Rebellion Excs Dragon, Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon, Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon, and, if I could just make a little bit of space here, Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Overlord. So, Raider's Knight, if you have 2 level 4 dark monsters, you can essentially rank up into Arc Rebellion Excs Dragon, and because Arc Rebellion Excs Dragon, if it's Excs summon, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, so Raider's Knight's effect to destroy the summoned monster at the opponent's next end phase is irrelevant. On top of that, we play Arc Rebellion to go into a OTK. Just takes the sum of all attack points on the field, and you can just end it in 1 shot. Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon, solid card, because if this Exceed summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Odd Eyes monster from your extra deck, except for, this card's name. On top of that, Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon. Honestly, we summon it not to use its effect, but to just go right into Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon Overlord, because if it's Exceed summoned using a Rebellion Exceed monster, and it was a rank 7, this card can make up to 3 attacks during each battle phase, so more OTK ability. Moving on to some of our Synchro Monsters, Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon, Clearwing Synchro Dragon, Supreme King Dragon Clearwing, Ignister Prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer. Sorry guys, that name was really long. And Borreload Savage Dragon. So, Meteor Burst, you summon it, you can special summon Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon if he's in your scale. Now you have 2 level 7 monsters to overlay into your rank 7 Exceeds. Clearwing Synchro Dragon, because we play Noble Dragon Magician, we can go into him. On top of that, he does serve as 2 very niche monster negates. Supreme King Dragon Clearwing, it's one of our level 8 synchros, and we usually use him for the board wipe, because if this card is synchroed, you can destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. Ignister Prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer, he's great because, like we said, we want to trigger Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon's effect as much as possible, so if we can just pop cards, then we can trigger off the effects. Borreload Savage Dragon, so we do play 3 Link monsters. Typically you want Beyond the Pendulum in the grave, then Synchro Summon him, target Beyond the Pendulum, and equip it. Now he has 2 Borrel counters, and he's an Omni Negate. For our fusions, we only play 2, Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon and Starting Venom Fusion Dragon. Typically, off of Odd Eyes Disolver, Performer Pal Odd Eyes Disolver, you want to fuse into him, or you could use, Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon to special summon him. He is a negate. On top of that, if your opponent controls a face-up attack position monster, when this card is specialed, you can return it back to the hand. Otherwise, you also play Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, which If it's destroyed, if this fusion summon card is destroyed, destroy all special summon monsters your opponent controls. On top of that, you can make this card gain attack equal to one of your opponent's special summon monsters until the end of this turn. And if it's a level 5 or higher monster, you can make this card's name become that monster's original name and replace this effect with that monster's original effect. So yeah guys, that concludes our Odd Eyes deck profile. I apologize if I was stuttering all over the place. Pendulum decks are very hard to explain, so please cut me some slack. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day. God bless.